Hello, Fernanda. Nice to
Hello,
meet
Arka.
you. Good morning to you. You're talking to us from Mexico City, and it's 11 o'clock in the morning there, while here it's 6 in the evening. You are the director of Sin Señales Particulares, and I must say I really enjoyed your film. It has great photography. It's very subtle. The images are really beautiful. So if anyone is watching right now and looking to watch a very serene movie, I would say yours is a good pick. So your story is about Magdalena, a Mexican woman who is looking for her son, a boy who disappeared on his way to the border between Mexico and the United States. So Fernanda, why did you want us to tell this story?
Because in Mexico, we have been living a rise of violence for more than 10 years now. Mm-hmm. And it really changed my perception of the country I was living in. And I was also in awe of all the families, and especially the mothers, mm-hmm. that were determined to find their missing loved ones. So I wanted to explore that relationship that cannot be broken, not even by the uncertainty of death.
Mm-hmm. And do you also know women and mothers who've experienced this story themselves? Do you have a close relation to the place, for instance?
Not a close relation to persons. I mean, I made a lot of research, mm-hmm. but not in my family or my friends, fortunately. But I was born in a town that it's always one of the 3 places that expels people, migrants, to the United mm-hmm. States. So that's something that's close to me. Mm-hmm. And in Mexico, almost all of us have relatives in the United States, relatives mm-hmm. that have gone, most of them illegally, looking for a better future.
Mm-hmm. And when you say the last 10 years that it has changed, what has changed in the last 10 years that it's much more now, the violence and the uncertainties?
The violence that at some point, I believe people in the middle class felt it was something foreign, something that happened to someone else. But then deaths and disappearances, particularly disappearances, mm-hmm. began happening to everyone. So mm-hmm. it is something that crosses the social structure, and I believe because I'm a person of the middle class, it began to really shock us, and I mean, it's sad, but when it transversed all the social classes, and we became aware of the place we were living in, that mm-hmm. it really was different from what we thought.
And what is the motive? Like, you show a gang, what is the motive for them to make the other ones disappear, to kill them, to shoot them? Is it just robbery, or what is their motivation of these gangs?
I believe the main phenomenon underneath this is drug trafficking. Mm-hmm. And I'm not an expert, but the structure of the business changed in this past 12, 15 years. Mm-hmm. And so the cartels are really fighting against each other for the control of the business. Mm-hmm. And related to drug trafficking are many other phenomena like people trafficking, migrants trafficking, oil mm-hmm. trafficking, weapons trafficking. And all these are mixed and intertwined, and it really makes a mixture for violence that it's mm-hmm. really difficult to fight.
So I said at the beginning of our conversation that I think your photography was super beautiful, and on the other side, there's not much dialogue in your film. Are you a director who likes to tell the story through images and not through words?
I like dialogues. I mean, when they're important, but yes, I also wanted to submerge the audience in an experience similar to that of the mother. So I was telling you just now that this phenomenon of violence is very difficult to understand, and also the film tries to use the perspective of the victim, of the character that's inside and really doesn't know what's happening. So this mother doesn't know what the details of all the phenomena around her, and that's why many of the scenes really are not based on dialogue but an image. So because we were to convey this feeling of not knowing and being in the unknown.
Yeah, it works very strongly. And is that also why you chose for the character who's seen who was on the same bus as the boys? Was that why you chose for him not to speak Spanish, but like I think it's an indigenous language he speaks, or
it's a language called Zapoteco. I wrote this film with the producer, with Astrid, and when we were at a certain point on the script, we were having difficulties expressing the violence, the unexplainable motives for violence. We had this idea of using a character that doesn't speak the same language, and that it's also kind of a metaphor. So we could approach violence more from atmospheric and metaphoric point of view than trying to explain the reason why this kind of things.
Beautiful. Do you speak Zapoteco yourself as well when you're from the same region? No? Okay.
No, I don't. I settled on this very particular language because many people on the crew spoke it. So it was easier for me to consult with them. One of the actors, David Illesca, the boy that plays Miguel, his first language actually is Zapoteco, and he was one of the consultants for the film.
Did you choose him, Miguel, who has a big role as well, because of, well, like, was he raised in the environment as well where you were raised? Is he from the same region?
No, he's a professional actor from Mexico City, and his story is really, really amazing because he comes from a community in another state called Oaxaca, and he decided to study theater and acting because he saw a play when he was young and he was fascinated and he was convinced that he wanted to become an actor. And I had worked with him in a short film, and I really wanted to work with him again.
Okay.
So that's. But also, of course, he has a lot of experience in his family of migration, and it was wonderful to work with him. And there are many stories, with particular stories. Some of them said we managed to get a visa for him to shoot the scene of the crossing of the border back to Mexico.
Was it difficult to get the visa?
It wasn't so difficult because he's a professional actor, and we could prove that he was working on a film. But unfortunately, he went on a holiday with some people from his family to Baltimore months after we finished shooting the film. And they stopped him on the street and asked for documents. And because he doesn't speak English, he was detained and taken to a jail, to an ISIS jail. And it was very unfortunate that he lived a very similar experience as the one that is portrayed.
So actually first he was acting this, and then later on it really happened to him.
Yes.
Okay, wow. Yeah. That's intense.
So he couldn't go to the premiere of the film in Sundance because he didn't. Yes.
I understand. Okay, so the premiere, was in Sundance Festival, and then because he got detained, went on holiday with his family in Baltimore, he couldn't come with you to Sundance Festival.
Yes.
Okay. Sad. Well, I think Sin Señales Particulares is really a beautiful picture showing the stories behind the numbers that we see in the news, behind the conflict on the border between the United States and Mexico. Yet it is also about the relationship between a mother and a son. Was it important to you to, next to telling the story of the border and of the migration along the border, also to make it a universal story about family relationships?
Yes, we had done a short film previous to Sin Señas Particulares, and it was an exploration of the same story. And with that short film, we realized the story of a mother looking for her missing son. It really could go beyond borders, because the figure of a mother and the relationship with children, like you said, is universal. And despite the languages, and despite our differences, we can relate to that.
More in the beginning of the film, there's also a second story of another mother, not Magdalena, of which the police stopped trying to find her son.
Yes, I wanted to use that character for two reasons. One, to express that this phenomenon goes beyond social class, that it really is happening in Mexico, to enforce disappearances, and also because it's a character that pushes Magdalena to continue her quest. And it doesn't answer many questions, but yes, it's a boy. She's been looking for her son for 4 years, and she just recently found the body of his son, who's been dead for only some days. So that's something that's happened in Mexico. It's based on a real case, and you wonder where all these people has been, why they contacted their relatives, and what's happening really beyond what we think it's normal and usual.
And then in the end, because of the Magdalena's son, we also get an answer more or less on the first story with the other mother.
Yes.
Okay. Then, Fernanda, I was wondering, which directors or films are you inspired by?
I like, that's a difficult question always, but
sorry.
For this film, and even though it doesn't have a similar theme or anything, but I watched many times Walkabout from Nicolas Roeg, perhaps because of how he shot the landscape in Australia. But also, I believe Larissa Shepitko's Ascension. It's a film that really inspired me. Probably those two for this film were a lot of inspiration.
What kind of films do you like to watch yourself? Do you watch a lot of films?
I try. Sometimes I found myself in the last couple of years that, and I believe it happens to many of us, that it's harder for me to concentrate on content when I'm tired. So when we have a home projector at home, and we try to use it, so we enjoy films more in a bigger screen on the wall. I mean, it's not a screen, it's we do that. So of course I love films, and I try to watch. What kind of films I like? I don't know if I have an answer for that. I mean, all kinds of films that have a strong point of view, that's the ones I love, but I also enjoy thrillers and horror films and other kinds of movies.
And how is it going for Sin Señales Particulares right now with all the with Corona going on in the world? Like, Is it a big bummer for you? Are there still projections online? What is going on right now?
It's been complicated. I mean, we were very lucky with our premiere because at least the film, it's not stopped. It already is out there. But yes, there has been a lot of cancellations or postponements, and we don't really know what's going to happen, if we will be able to get theatrical distribution, because we don't know we will be able to go back into the streets and to have gatherings again. So that's all uncertainty. But on the other hand, initiatives like yours to have online festivals, they're great because it allows the film to have a life in these uncertain times.
It's true. Are you able right now to work on new projects, or did you have to pause that as well? Can we already know something of your future plans?
I work with Astrid Rondero, who is the producer and co-writer of this film. We're both directors. I mean, and basically, and what we have done is she directs something that I produce, and then I direct something that she produces. And in this way, we have this collaboration that pushes the both of us ahead. So now we are developing and financing her second feature. And I mean, it's kind of not in complete pause because we can still do stuff and make applications. But yes, we cannot go to scout locations or to cast actors. That's I mean, in pause right now. And I believe all the world, it's with this uncertainty of how we're going to live afterwards. And I mean, for filmmakers, the question is perhaps we will need to think about other things meanwhile, and projects that we can shoot as we wait for this crisis to subside. So that's where we are.
Okay. Well, then I think you gave me lots of information already, Fernanda. I would really like to thank you for our conversation. Good luck. And Fernanda just told me before we went live that she has 4 dogs. So it's good that you can still go outside and walk them. Yes. I wish you all the best of luck with Sin Señales Particulares, and also with your future projects together with Astrid. And I hope to see you in the future with new work in real life at the festival with us in Belgium.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. See you, Fernanda. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you. Keep up the good work.